Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. That's right. It appeared out of nowhere. Don't worry though. It's a natural tendency. What day is today? It's June the 5th, the Friday. This June, holy shit, we're in June. June the 5th, 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me once again. If you're tuning in from the first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you've been with me from the beginning, or sometime like, two quarters, three quarters through the, if you've been with me from the beginning, but nonetheless, you like found the video somewhere, like, you're, oh man, there's so many videos, you can begin anywhere. Maybe today's your first day, but hello. If you caught on maybe a few weeks ago, or even a few months ago, or who cares? Doesn't matter. Wherever you are, whether you're tuning in from Canada, if you're tuning in from the beautiful United States of America, or the beautiful Mexicos, or the gorgeous people of South America, over there in Africa, with the big titties and the big booties, over there in Europe, also the titties and the booties, yes, and then the Asiatic nations, my Orientals, also with the titties and the booties, hello, and my Australians and my New Zealanders, my Nicaraguans, my over there in Jamaica, wagwan to you bomba clots and all bomba clots around the world, yeah, blood clot, pussy clot. Welcome back, thank you. Get a sip of this shit right here, because I thought to myself, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna have fun. That's one thing we're gonna do. But we're also gonna take time to give a little bit back to the community at large, to our scientists, because the news is the stories are unraveling. More is coming out, more is staying in. What are you talking about? First and foremost, I do want to. My nose is a little bit plugged. I think it's the pollen, or the seasons are changing. Your boy has got a little bit of stuffy nose, but it's all good. I'm gonna soldier on. It didn't stop people. This reminds me of D-Day, when men were faced with challenges, samesies, or when the Roman Empire took over, when the Roman Empire was thriving and taking over, samesies. I feel like it's so. We all go through challenges. Nonetheless, we don't buckle, we don't back down, we don't take a knee, we don't sit down. We might sit down. It's not mandatory to like stand up or anything. But like nonetheless, we face our challenges head on. If your sinuses are not congested, you're not living. Hello. This could be a great moment where the show could be sponsored by like one of these allergy medicine, but I don't want to. Oh, big pharma, titillating. I've never been on allergy medicines when it's seasonal allergies kicking. It's only for a few weeks and it alters every year. It depends. It's just started recently. It just started past few hours. I'm not even sure what it is. It doesn't matter. Stay on track. What are we talking about? Yes, the news, the stories, and me attempting to save a bunch of hoes out there, as per usual. Melissa Casias, let's just get right into it. 53-year-old went missing about a year ago. This is one of the 11 scientists and or nuclear scientists and or nuclear program scientists, or people who were involved and with maybe NASA, or maybe it has something to do with UFOs and maybe disclosure. Who knows? 11 people allegedly, more or less. There could be more, there could be less, but that's the number that I've heard. Roughly 11 scientists went missing or ended up dead in mysterious ways. One of them was found recently. She used to, again, Melissa Casias, 53-year-old, worked at the Los Alamos lab in New Mexico. She went outside and never returned home, and then just a few days ago, I'm not even sure when it happened. I think just a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, a hiker found her body, her skeleton, I think in the woods in New Mexico. A hiker found, and they found a handgun beside her body. They found a handgun and a bullet wound. I don't know where the bullet wound was. It to the tit? Was it to the neck? Was it to the head? We don't know. Cause of death, TBD. So this is what I'm trying to do today to assist you out there. If you're a nuclear scientist, if you're working in the American nuclear program, or any nuclear program for that matter, if you're if you're like a high-level physicist, if you are working with anti-gravity tech, or you're trying to figure out some anti-gravity tech, or you've already figured out anti-gravity tech, or no propulsion methods of exploring, creating black holes and then maybe traversing through them. Who knows? Whatever you're into. Let's just put it this way. Because the leading cause, I think, for these people to go missing, the men's and the women's who went missing and are ending up dead, I think it's because this is what you do. If you're a high level clearance, if you got like high level clearance, and if you're working with the army or the military, or again, you're like a scientist doing crazy research that's, imperative to, it's important to us, to our future, to our present and to our future. And our adversaries must not get a, the whiff of what we're doing, because if they do, it's a race, it's a new arms race, it's a new leg race. We already had an arms race. We had let's get other body parts involved. I say it's the new dick race. That's right. Or puss race. It's time. You know what? Let's put women first. For Christ's sake, it's a world first, puss first, puss race. It's a puss race. It's a pussy race. What are we even talking about, ladies and gentlemen? This is what's happening. So yes, you must remain cautious. Be careful. Do not go, because I believed, allegedly, again, we don't know anything about these stories. This is just like the tip of the iceberg, I think. There's a gut feeling. It says tip of the iceberg. Could also be indigestion. Who knows? No, I'm fine. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that you got to keep your mouth shut, apparently. And you do, rightly so, because you can't, like, if there's like, high level, if you got that high level clearance, then you're working with important shit. But then again, this is where your boys conflicted. This is where your boys conflicted, because I'm all for, like, see-through transparency. So you can see through the shirt and you can see how many nipples she's got. She can, say she's got 2, but how do you know? Transparency, that's how you know. And it's got to be tangible. You got to be able to squeeze it or lick it at least, because they say it's real. And 9 out of 10, it is. 9 out of 10, it is. But every once in a while, one will slip in who's a good fake. And we support all of them. Transparency. Nonetheless, you got to keep your mouth shut. You got to keep your lips tight. So, quick debrief in terms of how to stay safe within the next few months, years, so you don't end up dying out there. If you're a nuclear physicist, or again, you're working with, no propulsion, fucking, the anti-gravity, pro-gravity, extra, double anti-gravity, no gravity at all, fuck gravity. If you're in that, if we're underground, where this is the fuck gravity lab, if you're working with that, if you're trying to create some sort of new, element, who knows? You're working with element 115 and other elements, you're trying to come up with the other ones, you got to keep your mouth shut. Apparently, some of these ladies and gents went out there and said prior that they're going to, go ahead and expose things, or like, whistle blow. You don't go around saying you're going to whistle blow. You either do whistle blow, you keep your mouth shut until you whistle blow on something. I don't know what it is, because it's like, at the end of the day, all information is mankind's information, but at the same rate, we are competing in a competitive world, God damn it. So it's a fine line. It's a fine line. You keep your mouth shut. I'm sure to save your ass right here. You keep your mouth shut. If people ask you, or if they're proud of you, family members, you're like, oh, I'm going to show off my wife at the next family barbecue. My wife is a nuclear physicist. Why don't you go ahead and tell them, hun, what you're working with? Anti-gravity, propulsion systems, lithium ion, who knows, whatever, chips, dips, aliens, reptilians, whatever, all of it. You tell them, sweetheart, tell them. You slap him in his face. You slap your husband in his face and say in front of everybody, he's lost his goddamn mind. This Johnny here, my love, he's lost his goddamn. I'm just a low-level secretariat who happens to work at Los Alamos or fill in the blank, whatever laboratory you happen to be. Make yourself look. You don't know nothing. You want to go around not knowing anything, all right, and not knowing anyone, and you fill in, like, you come up, and then whenever they run out of pens in the lab that you're working, you resupply the pens, and pens, papers, laptops. If anybody has got a broken laptop, you're that gal. That's all you do. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. You have no clearance. You don't know anything about security clearance levels. You don't know anything about any research. You just happen to work. You barely have. You don't even have your GED. You are surprised as to why they even bother to hire you. Yeah, but you're like, but my husband thinks I'm a nuclear physicist. Your husband can shut his fucking trap too. Your husband could shut his filthy trap. You're not a nuclear physicist, all right? You're just a low level, still needed, still highly respected, and everyone's the same, but you don't have that sort of information. There's no reason why you're gonna be going around talking to people about information, because why? Why? Because you don't have any information about anything. That's why. And this is gonna save your ass, all right? So you don't go around saying, oh, wait till you hear about the new disclosure bit I'm gonna disclose to everyone. You either do it, you don't tell anybody, you just do it, or you don't go ahead and preemptively say I'm gonna disclose something. That's how you're gonna end up getting whacked, all right? And it's not fun for anyone. We don't wanna do it. I would assume we collectively don't wanna do it. But if you go around saying you're gonna be, disclosing stuff, what kind of stuff you're gonna be disclosing? Because you're just Nancy from the basement who files stuff. You're just Nance. Why would you know anything, Nance? There's no Nance, but Melissa in this case, or whoever else. So you shut your trap, all right? You don't go boasting about your nuclear physicist degrees, although that's difficult. It's very difficult, because I'll tell you right now, if I was working in any of these labs, I would be at every dinner party, at every fucking and I'll fucking grab people off the street and I'll tell you a little something, because it's exciting. Most people would want to hear. If I were working on a lab, dissecting alien species, trying to get them to fucking, pounce on one of us. They're not into us, so we're trying to find out if it's the pheromones. We're trying to see what they're into, so we get them horny enough to fuck one of us, so that we can have interspecies sexual relations and have half alien, half human babies, and also figure out again a better way to get from point A to point B. All of it. I'd be telling people all of it. So it is difficult. But this is why I'm not in this field. All right. You chose to go in those fields. Keep your mouth shut. All right. Head down. All right. Ideally, you stay single. Head down. No relationships. Don't talk to anyone. All right. Don't talk to anyone. If anyone asks you, you don't even work in a lab. You've not even heard of the lab. All right. If anybody catches you driving to the lab, you say you got lost. You're just gonna stay for a day. Get your energy back up. You're malnourished a little bit. You're running low on sugar levels. Your blood sugar levels are low. You're gonna go into the lab area. All right. You're gonna get some. You're gonna find the snack area. There's gonna be a calf. You're gonna go spend some time. If anybody asks, you're just going in there to the calf, grabbing some food, coming out in just a few hours. All right. They're like, just turn around and get something from somewhere else. It's important that you get the food and snacks from the lab, all right? So figure out an excuse is all I'm saying. If anybody catches you near labs, all right? You don't work there. You don't even work there. You don't even like labs. You hate science, if anyone asks. If you're into nuclear programs, if anyone brings up nuclear programs, you'd be like, I'm the most anti-nuclear program person ever. I despise nuclear programs. Say that, because then you wouldn't be a target. So you're welcome out there. This was mostly a PSA, and yes, we still don't know what is going on. Was it self-induced, or was it murder? Bloody murder. Was it a hit? Who knows? Are they connected? Is it the same people that are going out and taking these individuals out, or is it different people? And who knows what the connections are, but it's curious. It is curious, but nonetheless, stay safe out there is all I'm trying to tell you. Fucking shut your trap, all right? Where do you work? You work anywhere but the lab, man. Fucking have a good story. Have a good story if anybody asks you what you do. I'm a florist. I work with flowers. I like gardening, thank you. I collect bees. All right, I make little trinkets and I sell it on Etsy. That's what you do. Who are you not? Nuclear physicist. That's who you're not. All right, there you go. You're welcome. The reflecting pool in Washington has been redone. I'm happy to finally, God damn it. It's about goddamn time, because this touches me on a personal level, because one of my first jobs as a young man, as a young boy / man, teenager, one of my first jobs was to go with a high school buddy of mine and paint a pool and reno a pool of somebody's, I forget whose pool, but it doesn't matter. But I saw this story come up and it just touched it, because it reminded of the time that I renovated a pool, much like this pool. Very different from this pool. This pool, we're going to talk about this pool, but again, it's just hands-on experience. Teaches you stuff about pools, hard work with with your mate when you're young. It's it's that time. It's summertime, of course. You're both fairly athletic young men. Tank tops, maybe wife beaters if I'm not mistaken. Jeans, shorts, jorts, and wife beaters, and buckets of paint, and two boys, young men painting a pool, and probably being fucking getting the cougs in the street thirsty. That's what we were doing, getting the cougs in the street fucking thirsty, son. That's what we were doing. Young teenage boys just painting a pool. Sup, sweetheart? There it is. Show us your tits. Good times. That, and probably giving the blue labia to a couple of mature females out there, and also but maybe probably blue balls to some of the gentlemen out there on the streets as well, and probably drove a couple of local pervs crazy as well. Nonetheless, it just resonated with me for a minute, and I like pools, and I like renovations and hard work and sweat. Let me say something about this pool and some of my thoughts on it. I like this because I believe it's been painted it's the American flag blue. It's the American flag, that's the color, because before it was just concrete and gray. Now it's blue. This fucking pool rules. It's one of the biggest pools in the world, and it's a reflecting pool. It's not just like a regular, it's no chump. It's no regular pool that doesn't reflect. It's a reflecting pool. It's in the state's fucking capital, goddammit. It's in Washington. We're proud of this pool. The width, it's wider than any pool in the world. The length, also longer than any pool in the world. Once you go near it, things bounce off of it, hence the reflection and the reflecting, so you can see things like yourself or images that are, well, the background's always the same, but nonetheless, it is reflecting. If you walk by it, you'll see yourself in it. And it'll see you in itself, like, because it's a beautiful, magical pool. Unlike other pools wish they were like this pool, but they wouldn't ever be. First of all, they're tiny. They lack, in essence, what it means to be a pool, and it means to be a large body of water, healthy in length and width. And most pools are just little. They're wannabe pools. They're not real pools. They're tiny. They're trying. And it just doesn't do the job. People walk by and like, these pools don't even reflect, and they just walk by, and some of them just get emptied out. But they skateboard in most of them. Some of them just people don't even take care of it, and people end up skateboarding in them, and that's fine too, but it's no reflecting pool. Otherwise, sometimes people leave the water in too long and they don't put any chlorine in it. Now you got some sort of new, virus that's developing in a corner with a couple of frogs, and next thing you know, your wife is starting to get little bumps on her skin, and now's a good time to if you've been fooling around outside of the relation, now's a good time to blame the bumps on the virus from the pool, and say that she should probably get it checked out, and that you have no idea about it, how she got those bumps. It doesn't matter who brought it in, as long as you go to the doctor and get it checked out. It's probably most likely caused by the pool, and that's what happens. So most pools are, in comparison to this pool, not so great. This is, of course, the best pool there ever was. Other pools, they can't even, they wouldn't, they'd be like, come swim in us. But in reality, there's only a certain number of people that can go in it, and it's very tiny. So they say, come swim in us. That's their underlying message. But when as soon as you put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in it, all of a sudden the pool is getting a little crowded, and that's not fun. But this pool is large; you can fit a lot of people in it. And yeah, again, it's reflective, it's shiny, it's brand new. In terms of renovations, it's just been done. So go ahead and enjoy it. Let these times be a time of prosperity and reflection for all of us. Let us all reflect it if we have access to this pool, or at least dream of it, and aspire to be like this pool, really. And those are my thoughts on this reflecting pool. So I'm here for it. Congratulations. It's beautiful. May it last another few hundred years before it needs another renovation. Cheers to the pool. And for those who are anti-pool, may you live a dry life where you get ashy and have access to minimal amounts of body lotion. There you go, you dry fuck, you anti-pool son of a bitch. $75,000 miles an hour, that's what they said. This meteor that just went over Massachusetts. Massachusetts, Massachusetts, 75 miles an hour. That's too many miles. That's too many miles. Apparently it went over. A lot of different people caught it in person and people posted videos of it. Apparently it caused a sonic boom. People are talking. I'm curious myself. Are they meteors? Just questions, just with everything going on in and around the world. Low key, just random, I don't know nothing about nothing. That's one of the pillars of this podcast, that this guy doesn't know anything about anything. But questions, just in general, are meteors for realsies? For realsies, dogs. This for the homies, this for the home gals out there. Are meteors? Are shooting stars? Is it? You know what I mean? For the most part, they might be. They probably are. But like, are all of them shooting stars? Are all of them meteors? You know what I mean? Because that'd be like, if I were, I'll tell you what, if I were an alien, that'd be a great cover story. If I were an alien, that'd be a great, because you just fucking spread it into the zeitgeist of the human brain, or the hive mind. Yeah, just let them call it shooting stars, and they go whizzing by real quick. We're like, yeah, that's a shooting star. Are they shooting stars for realsies? Or could some of them be shooting stars? Maybe they resemble shooting stars, and some of them are fucking going in and out of different time zones and regions and shit. Are they just, who knows what they are? But this one exploded. It created a boom of sorts. I wasn't there to experience it, but it was cray. Or could it also be low-key new weapons could it be new weapons? Because it's not just this one stood out, but there's other ones that we hear more too. Now that people have a phone with them all the time, so things get recorded and uploaded all the time, so you hear more, you see more. Fuck, dude, what is it? I'm excited. Is it a new weapon? Are we creating new weapons? Are some of them new weapons when you do see a giant light in the sky, when it flashes and it bursts and it makes a sound? Is it a meteor? Or is it an alien? Spaceship time traveler? Or is it some sort of weapon getting masked as a meteor? Look over there, it's a meteor. Is it though? Probably is. Fine. But is it though? Is it? It is, isn't it? Fine. But is it though? Is it? Leave a comment if you know if it is or if it isn't. I'm excited to find out more. Hopefully we'll get, what happens to it would suck to get fucking pelted in the eye with a meteor, a little fucking, just a little chunk of meteor. God, that would suck. Luckily, we can all rest easy knowing some Democratic people, some Dems, some New York Dems are focusing in on important issues, all right? Important issues that matter to the people. I heard about this one. This is, this makes you relaxed. This makes you calm down and know that you're in good hands. Because the representatives out there are representing you hard on the important issues that are important to you. I heard that they're working extremely hard in New York. Again, these are some New York Dems. I heard about this. They're trying to change language so that we go calling fathers and mothers gestating and or non-gestating parents. Again, important issues. Finally, the people spoke and the representatives fucking listened. When people went to the grocery store, I kind of looked at the meat and the price of everything else there, and they said, God, these prices are fucking dirt. Oh, I wish there was something that could be done with the prices, or at least if somebody were to change the terms father and mother to gestating or non-gestating parents. Either one of those two would just suffice in this situation. Yeah, these prices are super high, but if only there was someone out there changing the name father and mother to gestating and non-gestating, that would solve a lot of things. In other cases, people were worried. They're like, man, rents are skyrocketing, mortgages skyrocketing. If only there were people who listened and took care of the important issues. What could get these prices to go down a little bit or wages to go high? I don't know, maybe changing the terms father and mother from father and mother to gestating versus non-gestating parents. That'll do it. Oh my goodness, crime might be out of control in some regions. If only there was something that we could do about it, like reterming the terms father and mother to gestating and non-gestating, so that we can all rest easy and sleep safe at night. And guess what? Congratulate, because they did. The Dem representatives listened. They went out there. All right, they took your hard-hitting questions and concerns to heart, and they went out there and put it to work. They are now changing it so that there's no goddamn confusion. All right? Gestating and non-gestating parents. By the way, I don't want to hear that term anywhere. If you are either gestating or non-gestating, it just sounds gross. I don't like the term gestating and non-gestating. You shouldn't be a parent if you're gestating. Even if you are gestating, you should never even say you're gestating. It just said gestating. If you're gestating or non-gestating, you should just fuck right off. You know what I'm talking about? If you're a parent, you're like, I'm a gestating parent. You just fuck right off. All right, you lose your parental privileges if you use gestating and non-gestating. That's just how I feel about it. Gestating. They're gestating in a corner once again. Oh my God, no, they're gestating. Good God, get that man or woman who's gestating away from that child. I love the FBI. I love pre-dawn raids. We just had a nice pre-dawn raid, son. The FBI just had one of the best pre-dawn raids we've had in some time. All right? Gotta celebrate the people who do the good work when they do the good work. And sometimes when people are maybe in need of some encouragement, then you go in there and encourage. The FBI pre-dawn raids. I believe this was in the OC, Orange County. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, California. The FBI went in there pre-dawn. I'm talking pre-dawn. The main focus here is on pre-dawn raids. What even is a pre-dawn raid? It's before dawn raiding. Oh, it's exciting because you get up early, son. You get up early. I don't know much about it. That's like as much as I know about I would assume you'd get up early, or maybe you wouldn't even go to sleep. I would love to do a pre-dawn raid. If there's a program that I could like a ride along, but with the FBI, I would love to do a pre-dawn. Let that be on record, please. Somebody timestamp this. If there's ride along versions of for the FBI, if we can do if you want to do a pre-dawn, all right. If I could just be in the background, just with you, maybe dressed up in the gear. Don't worry about. I don't want to put on the clothing. I don't want the official FBI bulletproof vest. I don't want it. Stop pushing it on me. I don't want it. Fine. Medium or large, depending. I don't know how it fits. I'm gonna go with medium. Quit pushing it on me. I don't want it. Okay? The cool navy bulletproof vest, the real one with FBI, the logo FBI on it. I don't want it. All right. Again, I don't want a cap. I do not want an official FBI cap with the navy blue. All right, and the yellow stitching. Stop pushing it. Medium. I'll go with fine. Medium. Other than that, again, and I definitely don't want any gear. I don't want the gear. I'll hold it for you guys. I will hold it for you guys and gals. All right. If we're doing a pre-dawn, if you need backup, I'm not gonna be out there saying that I'll do things. But look, quit pushing me to do things, because I will not be. If we're doing pre-dawn, fine. If somebody needs to fucking kick the door open and go in there and say, it's pre-dawn raid time, FBI, put your hands up. All right, I'm not saying that I'll do that just because there's professionals who should do that. But again, I'm just saying if there's a ride-along version for this program, if there is a program, I don't know if there is. I'm not going to talk about it. Why? Because we're not going to be like those fucking hoes at Los Alamos. That's what I'm talking about. Tight lips, dude. Tight lips. So all I'm saying is, if there is a ride-along program where I get to wear the gear and maybe go in there with one of those fucking with the double-handled hammers, with the ones that you bust, the ones that you use to bust. I don't know what they're called. The ones that you use to bust the doors open. We're coming in, and we don't say a surprise. Surprise. No, you don't say surprise either. What, dude? I don't. Again, things I want to experience. Things a young man wants to experience. So I'm putting it down on my wish list of wish lists for Christmas. God, I would love to. So we did that. Another way, I get too much. I get into pre-dawn raid because it's the element of surprise, not knowing when it's gonna hit them. Most people don't expect things to happen. And pre-dawn is for like it's the time for like blowjobs. Most people are like either sleeping or you're getting a blowjob or you're going down on her. That's pre-dawn time hours. So nobody expects major things to go down like you're gonna get busted. So it's pre-dawn. It's pre-dawn. But I was eating her out. It's pre-dawn time. All right, you're getting raided. Who got raided? A 63 years old. I believe he's a American Iranian tech boss who resides in the OC. They went in there. They raided his mansion. Apparently, this guy was feeding tech and hardware to the Iranian military and the IRGC military and their nuclear program. So he was feeding them tech and resources. Apparently, the FBI went in there, and God, I wish I was there. And again, if this doesn't have to be tomorrow, doesn't have to be next month, whenever works for you guys, it'll work for me. I'm not, if there's a program that like, come check out this pre-dawn. Okay, let's do it. I don't care where it is either. I'm not like, wherever. It doesn't have to be California. It doesn't have to be like anywhere that we want to do a pre-dawn. Or really, like, it doesn't, I should preface this, yes, is pre-dawn my favorite time to do a raid? Yes, it is, okay? But like, if there's a raid at night, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not coming along. I mean, unless, I don't wanna be, first choice, if there's like time slots where you can sign up, I go pre-dawn. But if it's like if we gotta do it at midnight, I'm not gonna be like, I'll double check with you guys if we can push it back a few hours. But we can. If we can't, we can. Again, medium, and I don't want it. Quit pushing it on me. Size 12 shoes, FBI, legit. If you want to, I don't know, do they have shoes? I bet they do. And I don't want one. But if you're like, you already got the vest and the hat, you got to be matching. And I get that, dog, because you do got to get the matching drip. So it's size 12, just medium, like, pants, waist, you could just, 30, 32 waist, 34 length, and I don't care. I'll bring my own pants. Don't need to worry about that. Just jeans and a t-shirt and a cap. We're all good. God, I love pre-dawn raids. This motherfucker was sending fucking hardware, dog. You can't fucking send hardware to our adversaries, you son of a bitch. But that's what we do. We go in there and we get them. We get them where they least expect it. In pre-dawn. Another instance, again, these are times we love here at Glad You Made It, we love giving out flowers when flowers are due, and when people do good work, they deserve the flowers. Another instance where brave men and women, I don't know who did this one, I think it was a SWAT team. This was in Bakersfield, California. I think they had a hostage situation where a dirty man decided to go into, if I'm not mistaken, a bank. If I'm not mistaken, could be some other place, but he went in there and he took like 10, 15 people hostage. And he maybe gave them the bombs to wear. He fucking equipped them with the explosives or bombs. I don't know, but this went on for like 10, 15 hours. And then eventually the law enforcement officers working diligently and hard went in there, or maybe from the outside, they sniped. I don't know how they got him, but they got him. They shot him. They killed him. They shot him, I think. I'm not sure. He's dead. I know that for sure. He's dead. God, and that's the best case. There's only a couple of best case scenarios when it comes to hostage situations. The ideal situation, first of all, it should never happen. Of course, it should never happen. But if there is going to be a hostage situation, there's two possible outcomes that I can get behind and root for, and one of them just happened, so I'm here for it because nobody got hurt. That's the ideal part. The bad guys, the legitimate bad guys, go in there, they try to hurt people, rob people, and do damage. And fucking good, hardworking men's and women's in the force get in there and say, not today, you scumbag, not today. So that's possible, and that's one outcome. The other, then this one's more rare and doesn't happen too often unless it's like a good, it does happen more so in movies than in real life, is when the bad guy is not like your typical bad guy. He's got a good heart and he's not gonna harm anyone, and he goes in there, takes a few hostages, but then maybe like feeds them and like maybe gives them a little bit of money as well. So like, it does, again, happens mostly in movies, not in real life. And that's probably something people should take note of. If you're gonna go in there and like hurt people, you gotta get people on your side. You gotta get people on the hostages, gotta work with the hostage. You can't just be treating, it's not the 70s, dog. It's fucking 2026. People want the hostages, don't want to, one, get hurt. Two, they want to be, you gotta compensate. Don't be cheap. If you're gonna be stealing, robbing some money, fucking give a little bit back to the hostages. That's the ideal situation. And they're doing it for a good cause. Let's say it's like a dirty bank. If you're like, if you steal from like a specifically dirty bank who maybe is, fucking involved in money laundering, for large international traffickers of women and children. Like, let's say, and it's a dirty bank and everybody knows about it. And you go from, and you take a few hostages from there. Again, you fucking, you top off the hostages with monies, and you somehow get away with it and don't hurt anyone. That's that is another situation that I could get behind. That doesn't happen in real life. It doesn't happen too often. Rarely has it ever happened like that. In movies, yes, and that's, again, I can get behind that. In this case, just happy to see nobody got hurt. And again, the men's and women's and this, was it the SWAT team? God, the SWAT's pretty fucking cool too. Fucking badass, dude. Fucking badass. Pre-dawn and fucking SWAT team. Let's go. Now, a question came in, of course, as questions do come in. Someone asked out there, how do you, Rob, thank you. How do you catch a light? Because you've heard this term, you've heard of it. People say, oh, it's like catching a lightning in a butthole. It's like lightning in a butthole. People say that. But how do you actually catch the lightning in a butthole? I'm glad you asked that. Thank you. Let's just, Andre, let's just call you Andre. Thank you for that question, Andre. And yes, it's important because we've heard the term, but how do we actually go about catching the said lightning in a butthole? First and foremost, I must ask, are you equipped with a butthole? Because a lot of the people just like to assume. People like to just assume, like, of course, everybody's got a butthole. You don't know. You don't know that. You've got a butthole. You know you've got a butthole, but you don't know other people have a butthole or not. You don't know. All I'm saying is somebody might have had a freak accident, lost their butthole. All right, you can't just assume. Sure. Vast majority of people, probably butthole people. I'm not gonna lie, most like 99.9 people. You can't go around just assuming everybody's got a butthole. Maybe somebody fucking got in a butthole accident and their butthole's not on their ass. Maybe their butthole's on their thigh now. Maybe they had to remove it and replace it because they had a freak accident one night and their butthole is on their thigh. Technically they still do have a butthole, but it's not. It's like a thigh hole now. So it's not technically a butthole anymore. Nonetheless, let's just start off right there unpacking this situation one step at a time. You need a butthole. Second item you're going to need is, of course, a lightning. So this one is where it gets tricky because you don't control the weather. You don't. So some do. I'm not gonna. Some allegedly some do. We all know what some. But we're not gonna get into that today. All right. We're not gonna get into that today. The point is that you're not in charge of weather, so you're gonna have to watch out for when it rains. And when it rains, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's gonna be lightning and thunder. So you're gonna have to wait for actual days where it's thunderous and there's lightning. And I would hope that you'd have access to something that is, get above ground level. That's what I would advise to you, Andre. Get above ground level. Carry some sort of large metal rod in your hand, like a golf club would be great. If it's thunder and lightning, go to a golf course or go on a high rise. Go on a balcony and wield around a golf club, a metal, full-blown metal golf club. And wait for lightning to strike you. And again, this is not guaranteed that it'll happen, but this is one of the best methods that I could utilize if I were gonna do this myself, catch lightning in a butthole. As soon as the lightning strikes, quickly, you gotta have quick reflexes too. So I would assume you should probably be trying to, I would suggest you try to catch a few, fucking fast animals, rodents in and around the neighborhoods. If you see vermin, try to fucking pounce on the, if you see a rat, if you see like a little fucking weaselly little raccoon with like a missing tail. Try to catch it, just because you gotta have fast reflexes. You can't just go cold turkey all of a sudden. Swinging a golf club, lightning hits. You're like, I'm gonna switch hands, turn over, open my butthole, catch the lightning. And not having practiced with at least a few rats in the neighborhood. So you have to do this fast. I would also suggest you got to keep your asshole open. It can't just be like your regular tight asshole. And I don't know how tight you are. I can only speak for myself. If I needed to do this, I'd have to spend a whole lot of time opening it up and because it's fucking tight. It is fucking tight. That's how we keep it. Like and no judgment, like zero judgment here to those who have the loose. If you got the loose, and that's fine. No judgment. People, if yours is a walk-in closet that people can walk in and out of and fucking get lost into, and that's fine. No judgment. But you do need to loosen it up somehow. I've heard in some communities, poppers and or lube may be helpful. Open it up. Again, fast reflexes. So these are the few steps that I could recommend to you in order to catch it. Now, what you do with it after, because we've heard it's like catching lightning in a butthole, but what do you do with it after? You can't even show it to, because unless some of it is somehow sticking out of your butthole. I'd play it safe. I'd probably catch it, and then collapse on top. Just close it. If you catch it, close your butthole, because you don't want it to escape. You're like, I want to have some of it lingering out so that people can believe me when I say I've caught it. Have it and then maybe release it once you get indoors. Turn off the lights, release it indoors. Take a picture. I don't even know if it would work. I don't know if it would work, but this is what I don't have any other in terms of. This has only been tested a few times by a few individuals. I would recommend you try this out and let us know if it works out for you. But again, you've heard the term. I would assume this is how you go about catching lightning in a butthole. If you have any means or methods of catching lightning in a butthole, please leave a comment. We are, after all, one community. An 869-foot-long tunnel was just discovered connecting Tijuana, Mexico, to San Diego, which is fucking, I love tunnels. You know me, I'm a big tunnel guy. Day one, been there with the tunnels and the mole people. It's just all of us. Which one? If you don't like tunnels, you don't like yourself. If you were at one point, if you were taken to a beach by your parentals or an elder at one point or another in your life, and you're a baby, wee little baby, and given a little tiny shovel and a little bucket, and you were given a task to go sit on the sand and start sitting on sand and just digging a tunnel. How magical. How fantastical, wonderful. And then you extrapolate from that and you go into, some people take it far. Some people, of course, there's, and some people do amazing things with tunnels. There's the CERN tunnel, the fucking, colliding particles. That's people who are also into tunnels. So same, some of us just took it further, There's Elon's tunnel, the people, again, sometimes there's different level, but nonetheless, tunnel person right here, tunnel. Good thing about tunnels is just a lot of things are like, oh, it's right up in your face. Tunnels are like, is it even there? You don't even know. It might be, it might not be. But they have gotten a bad rap. They have gotten a bad rap a lot of times. If it's not like if it's not an official tunnel, people don't like tunnels. Otherwise it's gotta be that's the thing I've noticed. If it's not an official tunnel, it's not a tunnel, or at least it's a tunnel, but people people are like, oh, is that an official? Did somebody permit this tunnel? Is it an official tunnel? People don't like it because that's the ground, because we control the ground on top of it. We control the ground. We control the air and the water and the dirt. We control the dirt underneath too. So you can't just go willy nilly. That's the guy. You'd think so, right? You'd think you'd be able to tunnel anywhere. You can't. You can't even tunnel in your own home. You can. You technically can. You technically can't. You technically by law you can't. But really, if no one's coming to check, if you got a basement, if you got a baby, you can tunnel. You can tunnel, baby. If you got a basement right now, you're not tunneling. You're not living life. I would leave my wife and children to tunnel in the basement right now. I don't have a wife or children or a basement or a tunnel. But again, if that mix came about at one point or another, and I looked at my living situation, I was like, wife, kids, and I'm like, oh, tunnel, I tunnel right there. I check on them. I'd come back. But I'm saying, you can do both. You can chew gum and tunnel at the same. I tunnel. I tunnel with my wife. I take her in the tunnel and we tunnel together, back to back, husband and wife, tunneling. God, can a man dream to tunnel with his wife? One day. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, apparently people don't like this tunnel. People don't like it, and they assume the words are like, oh, it's gonna be for fucking trafficking, maybe people, or smuggling drugs. And that's the thing with tunnels. As soon as people are judgy when it comes to tunnels. When they see a tunnel, they're like, it's for drug smuggling and people smuggling. And all right, fine, they were right this time. And many other times as well. And yeah, that's sad. It is sad. This perhaps could be a learning moment. The tunnels have fucking, there's more to tunnels than just human trafficking and sex trafficking and drug trafficking and just trafficking in general. There's more to tunnels than that. People have used, remember when we used tunnels for the good? Remember the underground tunnel? That was a good tunnel. Remember the tube in London? That's a fucking great tunnel. Many tunnels. Great tunnels. Fuck. The transportation system in the UK, in London, fantastic. The fucking tunnel city. Talk about tunnel. New York, samesies, samesies. My goodness. I wish some of that was, implemented here in Toronto. We like to build on top of the ground. We don't like to dig as much. I don't know why. Got a ton of space. It takes longer. I think it takes a little bit more money, but long-term investment, tunnels are good. It's good to have tunnels. You never know. Again, with the meteors, you want to have tunnels. Not saying that you need it for the meteors, but just in case the meteor happens to be, it's a AIDS-wielding alien spaceship meteor. Coming to Earth to spread AIDS on his whatever. You're like, oh, I wish there was someplace I could go. If only there were a fucking tunnel, exactly. So build them, stretch them. I like them, but fill them up if they're not being used properly, or leave them, and make them good. Turn those negatives into positives. For every trafficked individual in those tunnels, someone should. There's really no way to undo that one, but maybe fine. Stop the trafficking through the tunnels. But for every pound of drug that travels through those tunnels, there should be somebody snorting as much as drugs. No way, that doesn't. It's how you use it. It's a tool. Okay, if you've got a tunnel, you could either go through it or fill it up with water or other materials. Big tunnel guy. I've got a soft spot for it. It's right there. It touches me right here. I can't help it. So again, if you're anti-reflecting pools and anti-tunnel, well, I guess you don't appreciate the finer things in life, and that sucks for you because you're, wake up and smell the tunnel. Tunnels are mysterious. You go in the pyramids in the Giza area or in Mexico, and there's tunnels everywhere, fucking leading you into new worlds that have been left behind for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years, if not tunnels that could be connecting us to billions of years of history that have been, layered by just, other generations coming in and building on top. So it's nice to have access to tunnels. I think some tunnels were just discovered by a bunch of Italian kids in Italy somewhere, and in their school, they were like in the school gym or something. I think they discovered an 1800-year-old tunnel that led to, again, see, tunnels, beautiful, could lead to a discovery of the past that could teach you something about the present, or, unleash an old virus from the past or something, or, bring back a mummy back to life. Who knows? Let's go. New mummy. Looking forward to it. I think it's coming. I think it's in the works. Again, tunnel related. All over the place, but that's all right, because that's how we fucking do it, all over the place, messy. You like it messy, and that's I like it messy too, not gonna lie. What are we talking about? Sam Altman is being sued, if I'm not mistaken, by Florida. How does that happen? How do you get sued by the state of Florida? Is it one guy that represents Florida? Is it a guy named Florida, or a gal? It could be a gal. Florida could be a gal or a guy. No, but he's being sued, along with OpenAI and ChatGPT, because they're coming out, and this is, again, your boy, again, evaluates things on a day-to-day basis, trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to see what's up, and they're coming in and saying that allegedly Sam Altman's eyebrows are too thin and it's impacting children's safety. It's either his eyebrows or ChatGPT. It's one of those. It's impacting children's safety. getting kids to do all sorts of things. Apparently, that's what they're saying. But this is what they said about the printing press. They said that the printing press is getting the children to do drugs. That's what when the printing press first came, there were people who are like, "What are you gonna fucking print stuff on the printing press?" And soon, some were worried because their kids started hanging out late at night by the printing press machine or the factory that had the printing press in it, and those kids, started to do opium back then. Started to do opium outside the printing press factory. And some parents were concerned. They're like, "Oh, our kids never used to do opium before this printing press came into town." And rightly so, they were concerned because their kids didn't before the printing. And some parents had their kids start printing presses of their own and and learning how to read and write and do printing press related activities in a positive fashion, like going on dates and showing off their printing press to one another and getting to first and second base and unzipping a couple of zippers and unbuttoning a couple of buttons and wow, what you got there, printing right there, but and they made beautiful families who got themselves involved in printing press related activities. And that's, again, the same thing was said about the light bulb. When the light bulb came around, they're like, the kids are gonna be out there doing light bulbs. And some kids were out there doing light bulbs, Some kids fucking went out there and grabbed the light bulbs and chucked it at one another. You could still hear them screaming in the neighborhoods that they were caught throwing light bulbs at each other, that the glass shattered, of course, and it went into their skin and it burned, and they started to scratch their itch, and it made it worse because you got broken glass in your skin and your dermis is bleeding, and it's like. And then somebody randomly ran and threw salt at their wounds, and that's when they came up with the term don't rub salt in the wound or do rub salt in, because it could be it could disinfect. I think, I'm not sure if you're supposed to rub the salt in the wound or don't rub the salt in the wound. Or you're supposed to rub salt on you rub salt. You get the lime, you cut the lime, you rub the lime on your hand, and then you pour a little bit of salt on top of the lime, and then you take a shot of the tequila. You lick the hand with the salt and the lime first, and then take the shot, or you take the shot and then lick the hand with the salt and the lime, and then the wound is something about women's slit and don't put salt in the. I don't know what it means, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But the point is, people had their fears. With every advent of tech, they came and they got rid of the horse and buggy, and cars came around, and parents were like, our kids are gonna start throwing light bulbs in cars and using their printing presses in their cars, and they're gonna be doing all sorts of activities that is not good for society. And they try to sue these companies, I think. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But guess what? Those companies are still around. Those kids, long gone. They're dead. And that's, generally speaking, that's what happens to most people. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You go from birth to eventually dying one day. So that's normal. That's where that happens for everyone. Nonetheless, in this instance, I'm going to say these technologies are not going anywhere. Train your children to be like those positive children who use the light bulb and the printing press to do printing press and light bulb activities, instead of fucking seeing a OpenAI chatbot and then having a meltdown. Your kids should be working towards dominating the AI chatbots and using it to the best of their ability to fight off our adversaries, I think, and creating businesses and new forms of art and just innovation in every field that mankind can dream of. And if your kid is out there suiciding and or getting into trouble, it's fucking show up to a couple of those baseball practices. Maybe that'll help. Or who knows? But nonetheless, I'm here for it. Big tech, fucking, it's here to stay. It's too big to fail. And you need to do fucking put some pressure on your kid. Point to positive examples. Be like, look at what Johnny did with the chat GPTs and the AI. Look at Johnny. Look how successful he is. Be like Johnny, or make him hang out so that Johnny can rub off on your child, or fucking your troublesome child could rub off on Johnny, and Johnny's business could fucking spiral because he's been getting some bad influence. We keep your goddamn kid away from Johnny. Johnny's thriving right now. The point is, I don't know what the point is. The point is I'm gonna get a sip of this right here. That's what I'm gonna do. The point is that long distance relationships are hard. They're extremely difficult, and this was exemplified in a phone call recently made from Trumpisi to Bibi. They are hard. They're difficult. Relationships are difficult. Long distance is hard. I was waiting for your call. You never called. I decided to call you myself. I mean, did I call or did you call? Who called? It's been a few days. I was saying, maybe, I get it. You're busy. You're all the way over there and I'm all the way over here. It's difficult. But how you doing nonetheless? How you doing? Mar-a-Lago is good. Mar-a-Lago is good. The ballroom's good. Reflecting pool's good. Yeah, big pool, reflecting. Yeah. But how you doing? It's difficult. It's difficult because it's long distance. And apparently they had a heated conversation. Oh, this phone is heating up. How's your phone? Your phone's heating up too? Yeah. No, they had a conversation. It's tense. It's tense because things are unraveling on a still. There's threats. There's movements. I believe Israel has moved further into southern Lebanon. That's the thing. They took a sandcastle in Lebanon. Apparently, it's important. It's an important sandcastle in Lebanon. I don't know what it is. It's a castle or remnants of a historical castle. It used to be at one point. The Knights Templar used to be there, partying, fucking having a good time. In pre-dawn times, having a good time, but nonetheless was taken by different people at different times. Now, we got it. We could, it was, I don't know much about it. I think different people had it at a different time, but now they're there. And then the fucking IRGC, I think they just bombed like Kuwait and Bahrain. They bombed the friggin' airport in Bahrain. So that's unraveling. And then things are, who knows? It's just one thing that we do know. Long distance relationships are difficult. It's difficult. So they may have had a few exchanges of, I think Trumpisi, went off on him. You would have been in a lot of doo-doo if it weren't for me. Or something along those lines. I don't know what he said to him. I don't know exactly what he said to him. You'd be in trouble if it wasn't for me. You'd be locked up if it wasn't for me. You'd be naked if it wasn't for me. I don't know what he said. What did he say? He said something. You'd be fucked up if it wasn't for me, man. I missed the old baby. Remember, we used to have fun. We used to have a good time. It wasn't all about, going into new places. It was just being wild, young, and free. Good times. I don't know what they said over the phone, but apparently it's tough. It's tough. Long distance relationships are tough. So shout out to everybody out there doing their thing, trying to hold it down, trying to fucking, let's go. Whatever we're doing, I think it's going somewhere. I don't know. It's difficult. These are difficult positions, complex situations that take a lot of time. In discussing many of things over the phone. But you know what's not difficult? I'm glad you asked. You know what's not difficult? Realizing who's in the wrong and who's in the right in this next scenario. It's beautiful. Jared Kushner versus selfish Albanians, if I'm not mistaken. I love my Albanians, but in this case, I think they went ahead and one man came up with an idea to look at any place in the world and see it for what it is and say, you know what? Okay, let's build a luxury resort hotel here. And that's Jared Kushner. The man is a visionary. He's got a gift for looking at places and saying, this place could also be turned into a luxury resort hotel for people to come and enjoy luxury hotel resort experiences. And he wants to do that in Albania. And people are, again, being closed-minded, not seeing it for what it is, because it could be lucrative. It could be a large space. It could be a whole resort on it. I believe it's an island off of Albania, or it's an Albanian island. It's close, I think. I'm not even sure if it's an island. It's a region, and let's just say it's an Albanian region that's being taken by a company associated with Jared Kushner that wants to create a $1.6 billion luxury hotel resort experience for beautiful Albanians and bring in tourism and all that business and money being poured into Albania. And Jared Kushner has this beautiful grand scheme. It's a beautiful, selfish notion that he wants to do. And all these selfish Albanians who are going out there apparently protesting are not getting with the program, man, because they're saying, what about the flamingos? What about the sea turtles? What about the seals? I don't know. Are the flamingos creating jobs? When was the last time a flamingo created a job? They they stand on one leg. That's how they can't even be trusted to stand on both feet like most animals, and or at least are on. If they're on all fours, then you know what I'm talking. If they're bipedal, or at least they've got 2 feet, and they can't even stand on both. They got to keep constantly switching it up. And is it the left foot that they stand on and rest their right leg, or do they stand on their right leg and rest their left foot? Who knows? We're trying to figure out this species for millennia now, and we've still not figured out. Is it something to do with them being like? Do the right-handed ones are they ambidextrous? Do they how does it work? Why do they're thin legs too? If it's thin, you would think that they would rest on both feet, but they've got thin legs, and they're like kind of low-key cocky about it. They're like, look at these thin legs. You thought it was difficult standing on these 2 thin legs. Peep this. I'm gonna stand on 1 thin leg. I'm gonna just do that and be cocky about it and be all pink in nature too, and just fucking like look like a target. But I'm still gonna, I can't fucking be like the eagle, the majestic eagle, and be a predator. I'm gonna be prey. Meantime, look at these thin legs. I got 2, but you're only gonna see 1, and that's flamingos for you right there. That's flamingos. So you're protecting flamingos over the vision of one man, Jared Kushner, visionary. You can look at anything. You can look at a family and be like, that family could be turned into a luxury resort hotel, and you didn't see that. You didn't see that. He sees dollar signs and money, whereas you see, the one-legged flamingos, or the seals, come up with a new trick. We've seen this one, seals. All right, maybe I know you're limited with your mobility, but what about like clapping backwards from behind your head? That'd be interesting. You pay a little bit more to see that, but it's been the same thing for thousands of years. And then the sea turtles. Why don't you try, if I can go, to change your environment, sea turtle. Why don't you fucking go into why don't you grow up and go to the ocean, play with the big boys? Why don't you be an ocean turtle, sea turtle? When you're always, I need to stick to the sea. I'm a sea turtle. I don't want to go in a river. Can't swim upstream. I'm specific about my body of water. Sea turtles. I like turtles who say, I don't care. It could be the river. It could be the pond. I'll be, a pond turtle. Mad respect. Doesn't require. Is not one of these needy sea turtles that needs to be in the sea. What about you? Check out this lake. I don't want to go. I'm a sea turtle. I'm gonna stick around here because I like where I'm at. No thanks. Get out of here, sea turtle. Move to a lake. So, one person sees opportunity to build businesses, create jobs, bring in revenue, which means tits, which means luxury spending habits, which means diamond earrings and diamond necklaces and diamond watches, and people showing up with diamonds and bags and consuming things, and people getting hired to feed the people with the diamonds and the rings and the necklaces, and maybe one day they can save their wages and they themselves could visit the highly expensive luxury resort hotels. And it's just a beautiful experience where it's just getting thwarted by flamingos. All right, I don't even think that's their natural color. I think they're doing pink, but I think it's because of the food they eat. They're not even naturally pink. That's the greatest hoax of all time. The greatest hoax of all time. Flamingos are pink. They're not. Apparently they're not. Apparently, you change their food, you change their color, man. That's your flamingo right there. You change their food, they're not even pink. We should do that. Why don't we have green flamingos? Somebody change their food, please. This one right here, I've been hearing so much about this guy for the past few days. I don't know why. Graham Platner. I think I'm saying it right. Yeah, Graham Platner. He's a U.S. U.S. Senate Democratic candidate. He's a Democrat. He's a candidate for the U.S. Senate. There you go. What a mouthful. And it's just been popping up, and it's just like, you gotta hear about the scandal about Graham Platner. I'm like, what is this guy? He keeps popping up, and they keep saying scandal this, scandal that. So I looked briefly into it. Apparently, don't know too much about this story. Apparently, this guy had a Nazi tattoo or something. Then he had it replaced with replaced the Nazi. He covered it up. He allegedly had a Nazi tattoo. Then he covered it up, and allegedly he's been sending like sexual messages to women's, and people are saying this is scandalous. How dare he send scandalous sexual texts? And he's a representative from Maine. That's where he's at, and Maine's important apparently. Trying to learn. Everywhere's important. I don't think any place is more important than the other. That's my personal opinion, but Maine is important. Apparently it's important, so it's important. But they're saying that, yeah, this guy is kind of like low-key, just like, he's toxic. He apparently has allegedly, some women that they interviewed from his past have said that he made him uncomfortable, allegedly, or whatever. Or I don't know what he did exactly, to be honest with you. I think at one point when he was younger, he didn't say this to he said it to one of his girlfriends, but it was like, he was just declaring his love of like a scenario that he had. But to be honest with you, yeah, he said something along the lines of, I wish I get home intruders, I could rape them. So not in a gay way, but I would like to rape. Like, he has a fantasy about raping intruders. That's what he said. And this is the gist of it. This is what I got. And I wanted to see what the scandal is all about. So I asked the ChatGPT, I asked Grok actually, that's what I have on my phone. I'm like, Grok, what's the scandal? And it broke it down in a few instances, just highlighting what I just told you right now. And to me, this one seems like a little bit, it's, again, let's take this time to use the reflecting pool and reflect and see what we're, why am I hearing about this guy's scandals? If he hasn't raped or hit anyone, I don't want to know about it. I don't care about it. If he is not an actual Nazi, I don't really care about it, because this is, again, the same. And again, it's to both sides. This is where both sides could use a little bit of self-reflection, looking into go walk by this pool for a second. Go walk by this pool. All right. Each side does the same thing to the other side, and it's literally it's crazy, is what it is. It's just try a little bit harder. Be like the SWAT team. Be like the FBI who do the good work. Because it's laziness. Calling people Nazis and toxics and. It's this, yeah. The Dems did it to Trumpese, and they still do. But they did that. They ran with that all the time. They said, he said you grab a wet pussy, and they made a whole thing about the, And they're real things. They're real things that actually happen. But let's find out the evidence. Let's find out what actually happened instead of just calling everybody one Nazis. It takes away from real, because there are real Nazis out there. Not many, but there's legit not. But if you call everybody a Nazi, it takes away from the fact that there's real Nazis. And most people aren't. Vast majority of people, but it loses its meaning. If everybody's a Nazi, then nobody's a Nazi. If everybody's toxic, then nobody's actually toxic. And there are actual legit cases of instances where it's toxic men's and women's out there who do things that are not good, hurt people, with actual but this, it just, again, it seems lazy. I would like to see a little bit more, because what I think, I didn't hear anything about the representative from the Republicans. I don't know what's her name. What's his? It's a her. That's, again, this is how little I know about this bitch. I think Susan or something, because all I heard for the past few hours was just scandalous. And I don't know this guy. He could be legit scandalous. Later it could come out that he's like some monster. But if you got the info, just lay it out so that we know it's a monster. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be just fucking teasing with a little bit of, he had a Nazi tattoo, and if you had a Nazi tattoo, you should keep it. You should keep it. Be like, I got a Nazi tattoo. It's just a stupid Nazi tattoo. Just keep it. Don't cover it, because the covering it up. I'll say this: I didn't like the fact that he covered it up. You should just let it be. Let it be. Be like, when I was younger, I got a Nazi tattoo, and that's what it is. It's not this whole because it's, again, we poo-pooed the Nazis, but we did take a bunch of stuff from them that we that's part of our inherent, it's part of us. It's fucking NASA. Shout out to the who helped with the you want to go to the moon. A little bit of, it takes a little bit of Nazis apparently. CIA. We love the CIA, of course. We love the CIA. You need intelligence work. Some of it, a little bit. Aspects of But that's the thing. There's pros and cons to everything. Pros and cons to everything. It's calling everybody a Nazi or a whatever else they call them. It's just, build up the I don't know much about what are their positions in terms of actual policy. What do they bring into the table? Both, the Dem candidate and the Republican candidate. What's the Susan, I think that's her name, the Republican. What's she offering? What's he offering? And I wish that people would, I would hope again, no, this is not, hopefully, down the line, we could always keep making it better together. I don't even know what I'm talking about. The point is that, yeah, doing the same old, like pointing to one another, this, evil, bad, getting half the country to be mad at the other half doesn't really help, in my humble opinion, of course, but it could, you never know. It could be the most helpful, just half of the country is the enemy of the other. Or we could work together in a new way of putting aside our stupid, the little differences aside and looking at one another and saying, hey, we all love tits. Finding common ground and building for the better. That's what I'm trying to say. Building for the betterment of everyone as much as we can, of course. And agreeing that, hey, we all love tits. Again, common ground. Reflecting on common ground, which is really tits. Tits are the common ground. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Get out of here.